Imagine getting the call that your grandfather's hand-built legacy is being bulldozed into splinters while you're 800 miles away scattering your father's ashes. And the woman smiling through it all? Your neighborhood HOA president, Victoria Langford, who just turned community standards into her personal wrecking ball. 6 weeks earlier, the call that shattered everything came on a Tuesday. My dad, 74, gone from a heart attack in his recliner with the Broncos still playing. I was his only son. The old cabin on Shadowpine Lake, built in 1964 by my grandpa Elias, a World War II vet who shaped every cedar beam with his own hands, was supposed to be our future. Me and Dad on that dock, teaching my daughter Mia how to tie a fly the way 3 generations of Harlans had done it. Instead, I was on a plane to Kansas City to bury him, phone buzzing nonstop with emails from Shadowpine Lake Estates HOA. Victoria's certified letter hit my mailbox the day after the funeral. Notice of visual blight remediation. My cabin, grandfathered in, predating her precious covenants by 40 years, was suddenly dragging down property values. 14 days to paint it beige, rip out the dock, demolish Grandpa's tool shed, or they'd handle it at my expense. I called for an emergency board meeting. Big mistake. Victoria's McMansion clubhouse smelled like vanilla candles and entitlement. 6 board members sat like judges. I laid out the surveys, the 1964 permits, the continuous ownership docs. She didn't even glance at them. "Mr. Harlan," she cooed, voice syrupy with fake sympathy, "we truly grieve with you. But rules are rules. Your little relic affects everyone's investment." I leaned in. "Lady, this relic was here before your HOA existed. County code grandfathered it." She smiled that smile that never touched her eyes. "We've consulted counsel. Noncompliance triggers corrective action." Her son Derek, mid-40s, perpetual contractor tan, sitting right beside her, nodded like a good little henchman. The vote was unanimous. They'd remediate if I didn't comply. I left thinking I'd file an injunction, talk to the county attorney. I'm the guy who signs off on their building permits, after all. Surely the law still mattered. Second mistake. While I was in Kansas City handling Dad's estate, scattering ashes at sunrise, drinking burnt coffee with ants, the certified letters kept coming. Reminders. Deadlines. Corporate speak for "we're coming for you." I ignored them. I had a father to bury. Before I left, I locked the cabin, posted "No trespassing" signs, called my neighbor Old Man Ruiz. "Anything with heavy equipment shows up, you video and you call me." He promised. Day 4, my phone exploded. Ruiz on FaceTime, wind whipping his silver hair, diesel engines roaring behind him. "They're here, Ryan. 3 trucks. Bulldozer. Victoria's standing in your driveway, like she owns the damn lake." I watched in real time as the blade bit into Grandpa's front porch. That railing he carved over 3 winters, every knot and swirl a signature, snapped like kindling. I called the sheriff while the video rolled. Dispatch sounded bored. "Sir, the HOA says they have authorization and a court order." I fired back, voice steady from 18 years of catching crooked contractors. "Check your system. No demolition permit. No asbestos survey on a pre-1980 structure. No hazmat disposal plan. That's 3 felonies and a lake full of poison heading straight for the groundwater." They hung up. "Civil matter," they said. By the time my red eye landed and I drove the 40 miles from Denver, it was done. Golden hour on the lake, the kind Dad loved. Just a concrete slab, piles of splintered cedar, shattered glass catching the light like broken teeth. And staked in the dirt, a laminated sign. Per Shadowpine Bylaws 14.3, non-compliant structure removed. Restoration and disposal, $28,400. Invoice forthcoming. Victoria Langford, President. I stood there shaking, not with grief, but with the kind of cold rage that sharpens everything. She'd billed me for destroying my family's history. I knelt, picked up a chunk of railing, felt Grandpa's chisel marks under my thumb, and I smiled. Because Victoria Langford had just handed me the rope to hang her with. I didn't sleep. I documented. First stop, Sheriff's Station at dawn. Detective Morales took one look at Ruiz's 8 hours of video and my county inspector badge and said, "This is felony destruction of property, trespass, and environmental crimes." But HOA cases get messy. I slid the hazmat angle across the table. They ripped asbestos siding with a bulldozer and left it in open piles for 3 days. That dust is in the air our kids breathe and the water we drink. She handed me a card for the best anti-HOA lawyer in the state. Next, public records. As a county inspector, I have keys to every door. I started with Derek Langford's construction projects. 11 homes his company built in the last 3 years. On paper, perfect. In reality, missing fire stops, HVAC venting carbon monoxide into living spaces, deck railings 2 inches too low for kids' safety. 63 life-threatening violations. I wrote them up. 30-day fix or fine notices went out that week. Derek called screaming, "This is harassment." I answered calmly, "No, this is me doing the job your mother paid me to ignore." Then the financials. Sunshine laws are beautiful. I requested 5 years of HOA books. Victoria fought for 4 hours before her attorney told her she had no choice. The spreadsheets were pure poetry. $460,000 collected in dues yearly. Only $285,000 in documented expenses. The rest? Derek's company billing $92,000 for landscaping that 3 competitors priced at $27,000. A disbarred lawyer cousin getting $46,000 in legal fees. Victoria expensing $17,500 for spa days, steak dinners, and her Mercedes lease, literally driving the neighborhood's money around in her car. And the smoking gun email chain 3 days before the demolition. Handle the Harlan problem permanently. Bill as emergency remediation. Usual 50-50 split. Derek's reply, done. Grief makes people quit. But the real nuke was in the county archives at 8 p.m., surrounded by dusty deed books. 1958 land grant from the original conservation donor. Any demolition of pre-existing structures on these parcels required unanimous county supervisor approval. Violation? The entire development reverts to county ownership for public conservation use. Victoria's bulldozers hadn't just broken my cabin. They'd broken the title on all 87 McMansions. 3 weeks later, the annual HOA meeting turned into her public funeral. The community center was standing room only. Cameras rolling. Victoria sat at the head table in her white power suit, pearls gleaming, Derek sweating beside her. I walked up with my projector. First slide, Grandpa's cabin at sunset, dock gleaming. This was my family's legacy. Second slide, Ruiz's video, bulldozer chewing through history while Victoria directed traffic with her clipboard. Gasps. No permits. No asbestos survey. Carcinogens in the air and water, because she was in a hurry to bill me $28,000. The room turned icy. Financial slides next, colorful infographics showing exactly where their $450 monthly dues went. Derek's kickbacks, Victoria's Lexus, spa days. People started shouting. Then the deed restriction, blown up 10 feet wide. One illegal swing of that bulldozer, and every single one of your houses technically belongs to the county now. Panic rippled. Victoria's face went ghost white. Detective Morales stepped forward with 2 deputies. Victoria Langford, Derek Langford, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy, criminal trespass, destruction of property, and environmental violations. Handcuffs clicked. Victoria hissed at me as they let her out. You've ruined me. I looked her dead in the eye. No, Victoria. You demolished a veteran's legacy while his grandson buried his father. I just made sure everyone finally saw the woman behind the clipboard. 6 months later the cabin stood again. Same footprint, same hand-carved railing, built by volunteers from the neighborhood who finally tasted real community instead of control. The HOA is gone, replaced by a voluntary group with $75 optional dues and 0 rulers. Property values are up 9%. Derek's banned from building in the county. Victoria's in prison laundry, probably still measuring towels for compliance. The new public dock at the north end carries a bronze plaque, Elias Harlan Landing, because some legacies you can't bulldoze. And me? I still inspect houses. But now when someone whispers about their own HOA nightmare, I hand them my lawyer's card and say, rules are rules until they're not. True or false? The real power abuser was the grieving inspector who used the system to fight back, or the pearl-clutching president who thought grief made a man powerless. Drop your verdict below, because in the end, who really got buried by their own rules?